Welcome back to History of the Queer. Today we're talking about Bayard Rustin, the man history tried to forget, but whose fingerprints are all over the civil rights movement. You may not know his name, but you know his work. Rustin was the hidden architect behind one of the most iconic events in U.S. history, the 1963 March on Washington, where Martin Luther King Jr. stood before the world and gave his "I Have a Dream" speech. But Rustin's journey began long before that historic summer. Born in 1912 in Pennsylvania, he was raised by his grandparents, Quakers, who believed in peace, justice, and equality. Those values shaped him for life. By the 1940s, Rustin was already a radical activist, protesting segregation, refusing to fight in World War II as a conscientious objector, and even spending time in prison for standing up for what he believed in. He traveled to India, studied Gandhi's philosophy of nonviolence, and brought those teachings back to the United States. When Dr. King was just emerging as a young leader during the Montgomery bus boycott, it was Bayard Rustin who sat him down and taught him how nonviolent resistance could be not just a tactic, but a whole way of life. But here is the thing. Bayard Rustin was both black and openly gay in the 1950s and 60s, and that was dangerous. He faced racism from the wider world and homophobia, even within the civil rights movement. Some leaders tried to sideline him, fearing that his sexuality would be used against the cause. At one point, even Dr. King distanced himself under pressure, and yet Rustin never stopped. He was a master organizer, the kind of person who could see a dream and turn it into a detailed plan. When the idea of a march on Washington was raised, many thought it was impossible. How do you get hundreds of thousands of people from across America to descend on the Capitol peacefully with food, water, transport, toilets, medical care, and a sound system big enough to carry a dream to the world? The answer: Bayard Rustin. In just 8 weeks, he coordinated buses, trains, and carpools from every state. He mobilized churches, unions, and activists. He mapped out everything from crowd control to the sandwiches in people's hands. On August 28, 1963, more than 250 people filled the National Mall in one of the largest peaceful protests in U.S. history, and it was Rustin's logistics that made it possible. But while Dr. King became a global icon, Rustin remained in the shadows. His name was rarely mentioned in the history books. Why? Because he was openly queer. His sexuality was weaponized against him again and again, used to strip him of leadership roles and deny him credit. It wasn't until decades later that the world began to fully recognize what Bayard Rustin gave us. President Obama posthumously awarded him the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2013, calling him an unyielding activist for civil rights, dignity, and equality for all. Bayard Rustin's story matters because it proves a truth we cannot ignore. Queer people have always been at the heart of liberation movements, even when erased, sidelined, or forced into the background. Their courage and brilliance shaped the world we live in today. Without Bayard Rustin, there might not have been a march on Washington. And without that march, Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream may never have reached the world. Don't forget to follow us for more queer stories, the ones history tried to bury, but we're here to bring back into the light.